In the heart of England's ancient landscapes, perched atop the windswept ridges of the Sussex Downs and the Wiltshire Hills, lie enigmatic structures known as dew ponds. These shallow, saucer-like pools, often no more than a few feet deep, have quietly sustained life for centuries, their origins shrouded in mystery. How do these simple ponds, far from rivers or springs, hold water year-round? Who built them, and why? Today, we unravel the story of dew ponds, a tale of ingenuity, survival, and harmony with nature. Dew ponds are marvels of early engineering, believed to date back to prehistoric times. Some speculate that Neolithic farmers, tending their flocks on these high chalk uplands, crafted the first dew ponds to water their animals around 4000 BC. These early people noticed a curious phenomenon. On clear, cool nights, moisture would gather on the cold surfaces of chalk and clay. By shaping the land and harnessing this natural condensation, they created reliable water sources in places where none existed. In 1900, C.J. Cornish gave a description of British dew ponds in his book, The Naturalist on the Thames. The dew ponds, so called because they are believed to be fed by dew and vapors, and not by rain, have kept their water, while the deeper ponds in the valleys have often failed. The shepherds on the downs are careful observers of these ponds, because if they run dry, they have to take their sheep to a distance or draw water for them from very deep wells. They maintain that there are on the downs some dew ponds which have never been known to run dry. Building a dew pond was no simple task. Early builders began by excavating a shallow concave basin, sloping the sides at precise angles to maximize surface area without compromising stability. They lined the base with coarse straw or peat to insulate it from geothermal heat. Over this, they spread a thick layer of clay, often mixed with lime, which was meticulously puddled, tamped down, and moistened to create a watertight seal. In some cases, chalk was trampled by cattle to form an impermeable barrier, a technique that hints at the deep connection between these ponds and pastoral life. Rudyard Kipling wrote of the dew pond's uncanny characteristics in his Ode to Sussex. "We have no waters to delight, our broad and brookless vales. Only the dew pond on the height, unfed, that never fails." The genius of the dew pond lies in its self-regulating design. As water levels rise, less of the insulated surface is exposed to the night sky, reducing condensation. When levels fall, more surface is revealed, inviting more dew to form. This natural equilibrium allowed dew ponds to supply water to hundreds of sheep and cattle daily, even in the driest seasons. One such pond, described by naturalist Gilbert White in the 18th century near Selborne, held an astonishing 15,000 gallons, never failing to provide for the livestock that depended on it. Dew ponds were vital to the medieval wool trade, when sheep roamed the downs in vast numbers. Some believe that immigrant Flemish shepherds, skilled in land management, may have refined the art of dew pond construction during this era. These ponds became lifelines, not just for animals but for entire communities whose livelihoods rested on the wool industry. Even today, restored dew ponds serve as havens for wildlife, birds, amphibians, and insects, while offering a glimpse into a time when humans worked in rhythm with the land. While condensation is the heart of a dew pond's function, their placement is equally critical. Many are sited in foggy locations, where surrounding trees act as fog catchers, their leaves dripping precious water into the pond. This fog drip, combined with dew, enhances the pond's ability to collect water. However, trees must not overshadow the pond, as their canopy could trap heat and prevent the necessary cooling for condensation. It's a reminder of the precise knowledge early builders possessed about their environment. Even people who studied dew ponds extensively remained perplexed as to how they maintained such consistent water levels. Gilbert White wrote in 1776, "Dew in the strict meaning of the word can never feed a pond. It is formed from the moisture in the air being in contact with the cooled earth when this has radiated its heat after nightfall. Formation of dew on grass is, of course, a very common phenomenon. But in 3 months' observations on a pond, there were but 5 occasions when the water was found to be below dew point. 4 of these were between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m., and the rising heat of the sun would have soon done away with this state of affairs. But even where most likely to be formed, it has been estimated that the annual dewfall does not exceed 1.5 inches. Night after night, I have watched for the semblance of dew being formed on the banks of a pond, but without success. The grass on the down may be wringing wet with dew, but it was impossible for this to trickle down into the pond. A few grasses with shallow roots growing in a pond might cause the formation of some dew, but in the best kept dew ponds, the grasses are not allowed to grow. Only on one occasion out of many hundreds of observations did there appear in one pond to be a slight increase of water during a clear night when no rain fell. I was forced to conclude that the name dew pond was a misnomer, and nothing has appeared since the period of my observations to shake the stability of my conclusions. As agriculture shifted to lower valleys and modern water systems emerged, many dew ponds fell into disrepair. Silt, vegetation, and tree roots pierced their waterproof linings, rendering them dry. Yet, in recent decades, a renewed appreciation for these ancient structures has sparked restoration efforts. In Brighton and Hove, the City Council's Countryside Service has led the charge, working with rangers to revive dew ponds on council-owned lands. These projects not only preserve history, but also enhance biodiversity, creating vital habitats in an era of environmental change. Restoring a dew pond is a labor of love. The process begins with clearing silt and invasive trees, whose roots can puncture the clay lining. Rangers then excavate to locate the original waterproof layer, often a mix of puddled clay and straw, and repair it with traditional methods. The result is a pond that once again captures the night's dew, sustaining both wildlife and the cultural heritage of the Downs. These efforts remind us that dew ponds are not just relics, but living systems, still relevant in a world grappling with water scarcity. The story of dew ponds challenges our modern assumptions about technology. In an age of pumps and pipelines, these unassuming pools demonstrate the power of simplicity and observation. They teach us that innovation need not be complex. It can be as humble as a layer of straw and a handful of clay, shaped by hands that understood the language of the land. Dew ponds are a testament to human ingenuity, a whisper from the past urging us to listen to nature's rhythms. As we face a future where water resources are increasingly strained, dew ponds offer a timeless lesson. Their ability to harvest moisture from the air echoes modern experiments with air wells and fog fences, technologies that seek to capture atmospheric humidity in arid regions. Perhaps the builders of dew ponds, whether Neolithic farmers or medieval shepherds, were not so different from us, striving to secure water in an unpredictable world. Their legacy endures in every droplet that gathers on these ancient pools. Dew ponds are more than just water sources. They are symbols of resilience, ingenuity, and connection to the earth. Scattered across England's chalk hills, they stand as quiet monuments to a time when survival depended on understanding the subtle interplay of air, soil, and sky. As we restore and rediscover these ponds, we honor not only our past, but also our potential to live sustainably in harmony with the world around us. The dew pond, small and unassuming, holds a profound truth. Sometimes the simplest solutions are the most enduring.